Welcome to the Harvest Bridge podcast. A part of our work here at Harvest Bridge is connecting local leaders in South Asia with people like you here in the United States. Through our podcast, we want to provide a place where you can hear their voices and listen to their stories in their own words. There's a transcription available for those who prefer to read these stories. In this episode, we will hear from 6 different leaders who work in ministries across South Asia, including Northern India, the Andaman Islands, India, Bhutan, and Myanmar. As a part of our interviews to create the most recent impact report, these leaders were asked about their hopes for this upcoming year. In 2023, supporters like you made a huge difference in what these leaders were able to accomplish. As we begin this summer's giving match, which we'll talk more about later in the podcast, we're excited to share with you what they hope to do next. Let's hear first from Priscilla and Philip in Northern India when they were asked what they would do with more funding this year.
Both will go through.
And for me, it's most of the this funds should be used on leadership training. We are looking at it, I think, so because I have seen people our leaders are against, so they have the leadership, and this training is lacking.
They have written that we are excited to see the new souls for Christ. We're praying new house churches on all districts, training leadership, training women's skills, start youth ministries, start the tuition classes also.
Priscilla and Pastor Philip want to train leaders. Ministry in this part of northern India is difficult, with less than 1% of the population identifying as Christian. Training would help Priscilla and Philip give leaders the tools and support they need to share the gospel. Pastor Philip went on to talk about 2 different kinds of seminars they could offer with more funding.
We want to do the seminars. One will be, there will be seekers seminars, seekers leadership, the new believers. They will be gathered in one place. There will be training for 3 days. They will be given food, travel, everything. They will be put in one of the places. We'll see that. And we will give them a small, after them, some Bible toolkits for them. There are some leaders who are working in the area. They have the needs. Some needs bicycles. Some need bikes, some have that, and we will also gather to them, sit with them, we will have them, through the word of God, we will make them for 1 or 2 days for seminar for them, and after that we will provide them what we have, that they can use that tool for their ministry.
A discipleship seminar for new believers with Bibles and toolkits, bicycles for leaders to travel through the area. These are just some of the goals of the ministry leaders in Northern India that you can make possible through the Summer Giving Match. Now let's hear from Priya, who leads the Gate Ministry in India. If you've listened to the podcast before, you will have heard her story of responding to the floods in Chennai. She shared in that podcast how your giving brought critical resources for the Gypsy community as their already precarious living areas were decimated by the floodwaters. The Gate community is an area of tremendous poverty and need. The pastors who minister in this community are not without their own struggles.
As you think about this year, what are you excited about or what are you praying for or planning for this year? As you think about 2024 and how difficult it was for the pastors, especially with the economics and with just not having enough money, what do you feel like the best ways to help the pastors would be?
Best ways to help pastors actually the giving only for the stipend for pastors to come by bus like that. So what I thinking, so just to pray, if we provide them or bicycles or 2-wheelers or something, that would be helpful for the pastors to encourage and do more ministry. And financially, they are very poor. They don't have a job. So if in future we can increase the amount for the pastors support, that would be a nice. Because pastors, full-time pastors, they are great. Pastors, they really want to do some of the business. The wife can manage. So like a small scale industries like that. So it will help their family. Or the children are not able to pay for the school fees. So
In addition to their ministry, the pastors are willing to work, especially in jobs that would allow them to continue in their ministry. Many of these pastors receive some support now from Harvest Bridge, but with the increase in cost and the impact of COVID and the flooding, more support and critical items like bicycles are necessary for them to do their work well.
so they can develop their business. So that is one type of supports we can do it for economical. They will develop because the children are suffering for not able to pay, not able to eat properly. As I told you before the pastor was eating like 3 meals, now they have shifted for 1 meal. So after the COVID is totally demolished the lifestyle, and now the floods totally. So there is no houses, there is no like renting. They have a renting problem also because nowadays it's so much of economical problem comes rise up, and the level of like rises cost goes up, the tomato cost goes up. So even though for us it's hard to live because this government is giving so much a high range.
Priya mentioned here that the pastors are cutting back from 3 meals to 1 meal a day to make sure their own children have food to eat. Housing is difficult to find, and costs are increasing for basic necessities. Your giving this summer can help Harvest Bridge support these pastors in India by increasing their support, increasing the number of pastors we can help, and equipping them to have self-sufficient businesses to care for their families as they care for the Gate for communities. Let's listen now to the plans of Pastor Jagan in Bhutan. Pastor Jagan is passionate about supporting strong family systems in his community. When we recorded his interview earlier this year, this is what he was hoping to do.
Also, it's a key because this year we have got already in our calendar. We wanted to, last year we missed the marriage enrichment seminar. We could not do. We scheduled it, but due to lack of money, we could not do. Because we very strongly feel the family values are very important, especially we can like Bhutan, where economy is being practiced. So marriage enrichment seminar is one of the key ministries or trainings. Every year we wanted to do so that the missionary families as well as believer families will be invited and teach about them what is the living and spiritual parenting, all those things work. So last time, we were exhausted without funds, so because of that we were not able to do that we wanted to do. So please pray for that.
Pastor Jagan had big plans for a marriage enrichment seminar, but he needed funding to move forward. In an area where polygamy is still practiced, these seminars are especially important since Christian couples coming from Buddhist backgrounds have not seen many examples of healthy monogamous marriages. We are excited to share with you that in May, Harvest Bridge was able to fund the seminar with about $6,000, and it was a huge success. 55 couples attended. Pastor Jagan shared that many couples who were having differences with their spouses were reconciled in the presence of God. He asked for your prayer for these couples who have attended, that God will strengthen them to live as Christ-centered families. Next, let's hear from Pastor Pan in Myanmar. If you're a regular follower of Harvest Bridge, you'll have seen frequent updates over the past few years about the military coup in Myanmar. The people there are being held captive to unrelenting violence from the junta. Despite overwhelming obstacles, Pastor Pan, Pastor Thong, and other ministry leaders have continued to work with their communities. Pastor Pan shares more here about a specific need we hope to fund this summer.
But are there things like that you think would be helpful to provide to leaders, like kind of like ministry tools?
Right now, I saw the needs. If we can provide a motorbike at least one missionary has to have at least one or two motorbikes. This can help them to move faster during this time of crisis. But especially, and if one missionary families at least 2 or 3 bikes, they can easily move things. They can easily move faster in that case. So I think that's like a motorbike. If we can provide a motorbike, would be very helpful for everyone, especially in this time. Not only for reaching the gospel, but also for just fleeing when there are challenges come.
With your help, we can send additional funding for motorbikes to Myanmar. This year, we have already supported 4 leaders with a motorbike, which costs $1,300 each. These bikes allow leaders to move quickly in responding to the ongoing crisis. In a time when getting from place to place quickly is imperative, motorbikes are a critical resource. Finally, let's hear from Ram in the Andaman Islands. As you'll hear, his request isn't more funding, it's for prayer. Let's listen.
What types of ministry are you most excited about or would you most like to do in 2024?
Yeah, see, I already told that the breakthrough has to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, breakthrough in the sense that the believers should arise. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Most of the believers are in a sleepy mood. That's the Apostle Paul exhorts that. Don't sleep. Get away from your sleep, like that he says. Like that, they are coming to church and going, and there is no involvement in the church activities. Even for the prayers also, on this Sunday they are coming, and next Sunday they are coming. It goes on like that. So, to make the believers as a disciple is the one who disciple others also. That's the main focus, and that breakthrough will come only prayer only. We have to pray, and all that's. So that's what we are praying.
The impact of your prayers was so clear over the past year across South Asia, including in the Andaman Islands. We invite you to join us in praying that the believers will wake up and be called to disciple others with the good news they've been given through the gospel. These are just a few of the many dreams God has placed on the hearts of the ministry leaders supported by Harvest Bridge. These leaders, like the others we support, are making a tremendous difference for the people in their communities. This summer, one generous Harvest Bridge donor has pledged a matching grant of $50,000 to fund projects like these. This means $100,000 can be raised between now and the end of the day on August 11th. Every dollar donated to the summer match will be included until our goal of $50,000 is reached. You can learn more about how to give and see the progress of the Summer Giving Match campaign at harvestbridge.org/give. Thank you for listening to the Harvest Bridge podcast. Follow us on social media or subscribe to our email list to learn more about the ministry of leaders throughout South Asia who are doing much with little.